Hey everybody, it's Sunday, the last day of April, the 30th. Cheers, it's noon, but still sipping. I thought it would be appropriate to come on and share what I got. I went to the record show, the regional annual record show that happens in Omaha. A lot of cities have them. I was thinking for a minute I wasn't going to go because of the record store last week. And then the more I thought about it, I thought to myself, if for nothing else, I ought to go just for social purposes. So I spent the morning at the record show. Really good time. Saw a lot of people there. If you see this, I'm shouting out. I saw Dave, Dark Stuff. Good to see him. Steve Tuco Jacobs was selling stuff. I didn't buy anything of his, but we had a good conversation. Told me about his new band. I saw several other people. Names are disappearing right away, but it was fun to hang out with all the record collectors, young and old. A lot of us old timers there. I know almost all the old guys. Gail and Dave and all those folks. There was one guy who always has the table right by the door. I can never remember his name, but he had saved a copy of the Omaha magazine that I appeared in last year, or the year before, whenever that was, and gave me a copy. I had it, but it was wow. He said, "Well, I had it for you at the last show, but you didn't come." I said, "Well, wow, you brought it again. Well, thank you." So I was originally not going to go, just because. Then, so I'm glad I went. I bought 4 things. Nothing groundbreaking, but I'm glad that I got them. I got this 12-inch single, Red Krayola, Microchips and Fish. And nothing earth-shattering, but the price was right. And this is not something major regarding the Red Krayola's discography. But like I said, when I saw it, and there was a lot of stuff there, but not a lot of stuff that I'm real interested in. A lot of stuff I already have was there. Interesting to see the prices that people are trying to get, and apparently are getting for a lot of stuff that I have. Big prices. But I'm not interested in selling. I'm really not. I had some really good conversations with several people there. It's good to see people. Record collecting is a good hobby. There was a smattering of kids there. I always want to see young people and children being introduced to records and record collecting. So I'm always encouraged when I see people with their kids, and the kids are actually digging. They're not just standing around. They're actually involved. So that was the least of what I found, and these other 3 were good finds. I used to have this album and sold it. Suntreader, Morris Pert, percussionist. He was with Stomo Yamashita's Eastwind, I believe. He's done a lot of stuff. No longer with us. On the Island label, I used to have this, and it's like I bought it when it came out as an import, and I never completely connected with it. That's why I sold it, but it's one that I've thought over the years, if I ever see that damn Suntreader record at a decent price, I'm getting it. And this was a very decent price, so I grabbed it. Under $20, that's a decent price. This one I grabbed for my electronic music section, Wavemaker. Where are we, Captain? This is John Lewis and Brian Hodgson of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, doing electronic music in the early 70s. It's slightly, well, no, is it dated? Totally dated. But is it cool? 1975. Is this entertaining, kind of on the light side? Yeah. But the cover fits it. They mess around with different timbres and unique settings on the synthesizer, showing their expertise. So that's probably the best thing about this record is the sound. The sound work on it is unique. It's not just the typical patches that people were using back in the 70s. This is happy to find that. And probably the best find of the day was this, Warm Dust. Peace for Our Time. It's beat, the cover. The record's in perfect condition. I used to have their other album, Warm Dust. I had it too early. I had it as a kid. So, I didn't, I got rid of it, damn it. This is Prague, slightly jazzy. There's also trivia for you regarding this. You know the singer Paul Carrick, who was in the band Ace with the big hit How Long? He also had the hits with Mike and the Mechanics. He was the singer and organist in this band. Early beginnings of Paul Carrick. This is actually good. There's a somewhat of a concept to this, you could say. It's anti-war. It's really pretty clear that this is an anti-war statement. Peace for Our Time. So this was a nice find, and I talked him down. So I got this for $20, but I had to talk him down. So this was the nice find of the day. I saw some other records, and it's always an option to go back. But one guy had several Tangerine Dreams mid-period that I don't have. But I would only get those for the sake of the collection because I don't play that much Tangerine Dream. That's why I didn't buy them while I was there. But I looked at them. Yeah, we're all getting old, so the majority of people at the record show are old, like me and older. I was talking to one seller, Gail, who's going to be 73 or 74 this week, and we were just talking about that. He's always there. He's bought my records, and I've bought from him. He's a big psychedelic and surf music, the music of his youth, and he has some good stuff, but he wants collector's prices. So I don't often buy for him, but it's always good to visit with Gail. It was good to visit with some other people. I was sorry to hear that one seller who's always there, Dave, wasn't there because of health. On the same hand, it was good to see this other seller there, Rick, who I hadn't seen for a while, who's had some health problems, and he said, yeah, I'm getting old, but he was there. He had good stuff, but I had it all. He had one sampler for the Sky label that I passed on it, But I thought I'd go ahead and come on and say hello and show you what I bought. Right quick to talk a little bit more. Doubt is a band on the Moon June label. Never pet a burning dog. Really enjoyed this issue. This has a Canterbury type of feel to it. It's instrumental, keyboard oriented. It's skirting that line between progressive and jazz. These are good players. The main fella here, Alex McGuire on keyboards. He's good. Oh, I just caught this. I haven't listened to that song yet. Richard Sinclair of Caravan is a guest on here. Duh. No wonder I was thinking, well, it's got that Canterbury sound. I'm going to have to put it back on and play the track that Richard sings on because I didn't listen to that one. But Doubt. This is good. Now, I also got this other one from Leonardo by the band. I have to listen to this, so I have another one by Doubt. Mercy, Pity, Peace, and Love. So I thought I'd share that with you. Good stuff. Oh, Jim Fields, you'll see this. I know you watch me regularly. Jim, it was great to see you there. And Jim Fields is a filmmaker that I've worked with, and consequently, he's going to make another film, a documentary about music in Nebraska. And he'll be interviewing me and filming me for this upcoming documentary. We're going to do our piece on it on Tuesday. But it was good to see Jim. And he was, like I said, focused mainly on finding singles by Nebraska bands. I thought that was kind of cool, so I kind of dug with him for a while and helped. I was able to help. So that's what I want to share, mainly. What's in my pile here? I have been listening. Parson Sound. I got this recently. This is something that was recorded back in the 70s. Apparently it didn't get released until in the 2000s. This is magnificent. This is wild and truly psychedelic. There's parts where it sounds like the people have really just they have left total convention behind, and they're making this loud howling, wonderful sound, and the people themselves are howling, and it's like, wow, this is just really on the edge, and this is what it's about. Is abandoning yourself to the moment of the music. Parsons Sound, this is really good. Listen to almost all of it. Went back to listen to some of this, because about this when it came out. Ichiko Aoba. Windswept Adan. Some of you may remember me showing this, because I'd come across it by seeing a video for a song up here where they feature this water concept. This is minimal, somewhat like pastel drawings, light. This is quite good. Minimal. It's good. I like it. This is a cool album. Marion Brown, jazz saxophonist, you ought to know about it if you don't. Vista. This is a wonderful album because it's as much jazz as it is ambient. Harold Budd is on here. Do they play? Yes. They do. They do one of Harold Budd's pieces on here. This is a really wonderful album. Reggie Workman on bass. Yeah, this is really good. Vista, Marion Brown. That cover is perfect for it. Sounds like the cover. I love a good cover. Yesterday was bassist Hugh Hopper's heavenly birthday. I forget what year he died, but he was the original bass player with Soft Machine. An inspiration to me. Direct inspiration to me on bass, he was. Played all this yesterday. The Wildflowers. This is a posthumous release. This was the first band that Robert Wyatt and the Hopper brothers were involved with. The beginnings of what we call the Canterbury Sound. And actually, this is really surprisingly very good. The recording quality is not the greatest, but in the early days, they were already interesting. Their playing was interesting, and their choice of material is good. Plus, there's a later track on here, recorded by Brian Hopper and Robert Wyatt. It stood out to my ears. I said, this isn't old. What is this? And I looked, and sure enough, this is really pretty cool. Wildflowers. Sea and Cake, related to the band Tortoise, Sam Prickup. Saw them live, and they were really good. That's what hooked me. I can imagine if I had not seen them live and I heard this album or some of the records, would probably like, oh, this is okay. But after seeing them and seeing them work at this music, made a difference. Nassau, hadn't played this in a while. This is good. Sea and Cake. Chicago band, right? Chicago? And I also played 1984 by Hugh Hopper. When this first came out back in the 70s, I didn't get it. I had it and got rid of it like almost right away because I just couldn't. And I consider myself always an open-minded listener, but an honest one too. And it's like I couldn't get this. Like the Tony Conrad with Faust album, Inside the Dream Syndicate or whatever it is. I've had several copies of that and I never keep it. I don't have one now because I just can't listen to it. But this, on the other hand, yesterday was a revelation. It's like, oh my goodness. Hugh Hopper knew exactly what he was doing, calling this album 1984 and 1973, making it inscrutable. This is a red vinyl reissue. It's almost like there was a quote. I forget it, but it was to the effect that you're going to hate this music. And that was, was very deliberate, which means that if you can get past the seemingly impenetrable weirdness of the album at first, it's like, wow, this is really good. Really enjoyed this yesterday. 1984, Hugh Hopper. So there's some music for you folks. More records are sitting out. Leslie Rankin, who was in Silverfish, had the project called Ruby. This is a promo copy, but Saltpeter remixed. Good album. I still have that album too. I like her voice, and I like her writing, and the arrangements, the sound work on this is really good. I love Todd Rundgren, so I hadn't played this in a long time. He sounds like literally sounds like a little boy in the voice on this record, which is a bit unnerving at this point, because I remember when I was a kid, and in perspective, it was like, the music of the time, and now it's like, wow, man, that was so long ago. He sounds like he's 12 on this. But the songs, this is a great album. Runt, the Ballad of Todd Rundgren. Couple more. Andrea Centazo, Ictus. Percussionist. This is a tour de force. This is very unique. This is just fantastic. If you see this album, get it. Andrea Centazo. Centazo Battistone Peruglio. Ictus. This is amazing. Very unique. And I gave this a good listen because I bought it recently. I told you about it. Pink Fairies. It's kind of like, well, yeah, I have. This is an original copy of it. You don't see this. It's out of Rhoda. It was one of Rhoda's records. And I really got into this. I played the whole thing. It's rock and roll, literally. And it's that, and it has that bathroom humor that teenagers, love. But Larry Wallace wails on the guitar on this throughout. And Twink on the drums. Good band. Good band. Last one I'll show is this. This is Italian Prague, I Giganti. Terra in Bocca, Poesia di un Delito. Now, I bought this when I had some money and was doing mail order during COVID. And what I read about this was mixed, kind of saying that it was like supposedly a second or third tier. No, this is good. It's red vinyl. This is very good. I don't speak Italian, but the sincerity and the musical arrangements, it all comes through. This is very good. I was like, what? I had kind of not been listening to it or skipping over it, always remembering the last thing I read about it, and it's like, man, I gotta stop doing this. This is really good. Okay, so there's some records for you on a Sunday. Hoping to hear from disc makers tomorrow about when to expect the delivery of the second 100 CDs. It would be so nice if I got them in time for Bandcamp Friday coming up this week. So, that's what's on my plate. How are you all doing?